Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to the Chupacabra tutorials channel. I'm your host Larry, and today we're talking about how to generate your very own panoramic images at home without the use of a handy dandy app like the ones that are probably built into your smartphone in order to get a much higher resolution image than you would if you were to just use the camera's automatic function like I did here. Which I feel like I have to export this in a special way from my phone because it's way more high def than it is on my computer. But this is what we're working with. I'm trying to recreate this using some tools that come with Photoshop automatically. So something that Photoshop can do is it can stitch all these high resolution photos together under tools inside of Adobe Bridge. I think every edition of the Adobe suite comes with Bridge because it's kind of like the file browser that talks between all of them. And we want to go to Tools, Photoshop, after we've selected all of our images, and I would like to Photomerge these into a panorama. And there's a bunch of other things in here. You can batch change all these photos to give them all a similar edit. This is really useful if you want to change all their names, change some sizing. You can make a contact sheet, which is where you line them all up so you can send them to somebody for quick reference. They can see all of them in sequence like they do inside this. There's a bunch of different stuff you can do in here, but I'm mostly interested in Photomerge. Photomerge is a tool that allows us to create things like panoramas, where it's just one continuous image. You can also do perspective, where it creates like a perspective warp thing from the area that you're standing. You can turn them into a type of sphere, like they do on Google Maps, where you can look around. All these different options are available here. And I want to just take all these, blend them together. They don't really have a vignette or geometric distortion. Or do they? Let's just add that just in case. And let's fill in the holes with content-aware fill, just so that I don't have to worry about any gaps in my lovely image. And once I click OK, this should automatically start processing all of these different images in order to create a cohesive panorama, or at least something close. Very oftentimes, because I take these types of pictures very quickly on the go to play around with these tools later, there'll be a fair bit of distortion I personally have to fix. Your mileage may vary, but what it's going to do is it's going to grab all these images, smack them into Photoshop, and look at where all the different lines line up and try to make it into something as cohesive as possible. And sometimes, just based upon how you take the images, maybe it's a little shaky, maybe they don't all line up the same way because you're a human being without a special mount to scan things with. It might be a little hinky. That's why when you do this on your phone, it takes like hundreds of pictures in a quick little line, because it has to reference all those images to make a really nice panorama. And that's not terrible. It's not perfect, but it's actually pretty easy to fix this. So this is the lovely photo, and if you zoom in here, you can see it's a lot more detailed. You can see there's deer in my pasture. You can see my neighbor's got the Doctor Who TARDIS in the back. Hey, Daleks, if you want to go talk to the guy, just give me a shout. I'll introduce you. And yeah, this has actually turned out pretty nicely. I have a minor little wave in the center here that I have to correct in order to fix this. And this is a great tool. Like, how fast was that? You take a bunch of photos, add like on your holiday or whatever, and you stitch them together to make a beautiful panorama. You can show all of your friends and family this wide sweeping landscape that you went to go visit. I think this turned out wonderfully. So that's just a quick little tutorial on how to do things like photo merging inside of Photoshop to create a panorama. It's a very useful tool. I recommend you explore it because it's a lot of fun, honestly, to make cool stuff with it. And then what if I want to fix this? Well, I'd probably go to Edit, I'd probably go to Transform, Warp, and then I'd pull this down a little bit over here. I'll keep playing around with that afterwards. You just gotta kind of tweak it a little bit so that everything looks like it's not smooshed in a funny way, and you just gotta kind of roll with it. So that's it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you found this useful. This has been another quick Photoshop tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe and throw any questions you might have at me. I'm always more than happy to help you figure out what's going on with these. And until next time, I've been your host, Larry. Toodles, everybody.